The antidote is the answer. The gentle smile that says, nothing happened. You are safe at home dreaming of exile. And the world is a fever dream with no substance at all. The dream only exists in the mind of the dreamer and can't be brought into reality. It can't be given life. So the dream will disappear upon awakening and no trace of it will remain. So the hallucination exists in the mind, and there it will be dispelled when reality dawns on the mind. So, what is the poison? The poison is the belief in separation, which led to the poison of the ego thought system of sin, guilt, and fear, and the great projection that is our world. The poison in the world is played out through our judgment, condemnation, and grievances, seeing guilt outside of ourselves, which is the pastime here. We can't not do it. We can watch ourselves do it without judgment, but we can't stop doing it as a consequence of and to perpetuate the choice for the ego. A Course in Miracles is the antidote as a reflection of truth that appeared in the dream. It's part of the illusion, but it doesn't foster or perpetuate illusions. So we accept the antidote by asking Jesus for help. If we don't ask Jesus for help every minute of every hour of every day, that shows us that we're resistant to the antidote. We might not enjoy the poison. We might not like what we think is happening or the way that we feel, but it's what we know. And the antidote is the unknown, to be feared more than what is known, no matter how terrible it seems. So we experience instances of peace and joy, which could be described as something unlike what came before it. But if we believe those experiences happen to a body, to our body, we're still fast asleep. And that belief itself, that the figure in the dream I identify with had a moment of peace, that belief itself will become a block to the awareness of love's presence. Peace is not something that happens to a body. It didn't happen to Kathy. A body is a symbol of separation until we learn to see it as neutral as Jesus directs and to withdraw our projections. So he says, "Unto nothing are all projections made," making every sign, symbol, and figure in the dream nothingness in a form that seems like something. We practice the Course by asking Jesus for help and understanding we cannot look alone. We cannot forgive alone. We either look with the ego or Jesus. We either try to forgive with our ego, forgiveness to destroy, or we forgive by looking with Jesus. So those are the options. There really seems to be an unlimited number of aspects to the Course that are really ripe for discussion, but it all boils down to who we choose to be our teacher. We have to recognize it's impossible to make decisions alone. And we know in truth there are no decisions to be made. There is oneness. There's nothing to decide between. But at level 2, decisions must be made, and we ask our chosen teacher. The outcome will show us whether we turn to the ego or to Jesus. The outcome is the experience, not the form, is the experience, which is a reflection of peace or a reflection of upset, sin, guilt, and fear. So understanding we cannot do anything alone is another form of the antidote, of expressing the antidote. When we are upset or we fail to respond to something in the dream in a way that seems to please us, we just say, no big deal. That's what egos do. There's nothing surprising about things going wrong. There's nothing surprising about feeling terrible. It's to be expected because of the choice for separation. But on our way back home, we don't have to add to that upset. We ask Jesus for help and trust in that help. He says, "Let my relationship be real to you." And that is the same thing as saying, "Let the truth in you be real to you." So I think at one point he says, boy, I'm going to paraphrase here. When you made real what has no reality, what is real became invisible to you. And so he tries to get us to see our relationship with him is real, and he's the representation of truth. It's impossible that we are alone, stranded on a distant shore. It is impossible that awakening is the dream. So we need to remember that no matter what we think we are, no matter where we think we are, we can and must be helped, and we are worthy of that help. He tells us to waste no more time, and part of that, I think, is the ego's chant to perceive ourselves as unworthy of devoting our time to a path to happiness, a path to truth and joy. The call for help, no matter where we think it's coming from, is our own. It is only our call for help we hear. That's really important to remember, because a lot of times he talks about responding to brothers. That's metaphorical. Everyone in the dream is a stand-in for God. And because oneness is reality, we're always looking in a mirror. We're always seeing. I may think the person over there needs my help, and Kathy may think she needs to go and do something, but that is a belief that is dispelled by the Course's teaching, that there is nothing outside of me that needs my help. The place where the problem is in the mind, and the mind believes in separation, and the healing or the antidote to the belief in separation is understanding that problem has been solved. There never has been a separation. It would be impossible. I'm going to read some quotes. The first one is from the workbook lesson number 126. All that I give is given to myself. In silence, close your eyes upon the world that does not understand forgiveness, and seek sanctuary in the quiet place where thoughts are changed and false beliefs laid by. Repeat today's idea and ask for help in understanding what it really means. Be willing to be taught. Be glad to hear the voice of truth and healing speak to you, and you will understand the words he speaks and recognize he speaks your words to you. Repeat today's idea. All that I give is given to myself, and ask for help in understanding what it really means. Asking for help is so essential. It shows an awareness that we don't know, that we are choosing a teacher. We are actively participating somehow. I mean, it is part of the dream, but we wanted a function, and he gave us one. Our function in the dream is forgiveness, and we ask for help. We cannot do it alone. And then he says in the manual for teachers at number 29, if you have made it a habit to ask for help when and where you can be confident that wisdom will be given you when you need it. Prepare for this each morning. Remember God when you can throughout the day. Ask the Holy Spirit's help when it is feasible to do so, and thank him for his guidance at night. Perfect. And the last quote comes from Psychotherapy, Purpose, Process, and Practice, Section 5, The Process of Healing. In speaking about God, he says, for he, God, has never asked for more than just the smallest willingness, the least advance, the tiniest of whispers of his name. To ask for help, whatever form it takes, is but to call on him. He will send his answer. So if we don't ask for help, it's because somewhere inside of us, we're afraid of where he's leading us. That's okay. We may believe there's a sacrifice involved. We may believe his answer isn't going to be what we want, because we think of answers in terms of form, in shifting, changing symbols, signs, and images that have no meaning. It may be that we think his help comes in a form that we don't like. We have to trust. Trust is the bedrock of the entire process. But we ask for help because we do deep inside want that goal, the goal of awakening. And we need to see, we can understand intellectually, illusions offer nothing. They can't. Everything we ever sought in the shadows is ours already. We are that which we seek. Jesus will lead us there to our own reality if we ask for help. As he says in the gifts of God. Okay, this is my last quote. I said the other one was, this is truly the last quote. And then I'm going to leave it there. You who have forgotten who you really are. Um, oh, excuse me. I got that wrong. Okay. You have forgotten who you really are. What but that memory is dear to you? What trifling gifts made out of sickly fear and evil dreams of suffering and death can be the substitute you really want for the remembrance of Christ in you? In the far country, you were lost indeed, but you were not forgotten. And I think so much of our depression and sorrow and anger, rage, comes from some belief that we have been forgotten. Somehow, some way, was just forgotten, left to linger in this world, watching everything die and trying to cling to the little I have till my dying breath. It paints such a bleak, despairing picture. He tells us we were not forgotten. And he tells us that our Father will call to us until we come to him in peace at last. So let's remember to ask for help, to make that moment in time come closer to us and give us that hope and confidence that he assures us is ours. Thank you.